All right. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. All right. All right. All right. Welcome, YouTube. Welcome, Facebook. Welcome, Instagram, IG. I see you guys. All right. Don't forget to share this out because we're going to have a good conversation promoting healthy relationships over here as well as healthy communication. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. We're going to have some fun tonight. We are going to be talking about love and intimacy and all of that. But we're going to play. I have some intimate couple questions. So, intimate couple questions. So, intimacy for couples. We're going to be talking about that. As a life coach and as a woman, hi Natalie. As a a life coach, and a woman, and a former wife, a former girlfriend, all of that. We're going to talk about questions that you can ask to build intimacy in your relationships or potential relationships, right? There is the love languages, and we talked about that on a morning conversation. We talked about love languages and knowing your love language and using your love language for you before you give it out to someone else, just to get a chance to know you. And to me, a relationship isn't worth a hill of beans. I don't know where that phrase came from, but y'all know people say it ain't worth a hill of beans if it's not a healthy relationship. So it's so important to have healthy relationships. And as a life coach, again, and as a woman, I want to promote that. And I set the mood with my little Bath and Body Works candle. Let love rule, it says. It's raspberry and tangerine. I love candles. It smells so good. All right. People are afraid to talk about intimacy a lot or have intimate conversations. And I think it's important to have those type of conversations, so we can strengthen relationships. There's so many relationships that are no longer working because people stopped communicating, people stopped asking questions, people have stopped talking, period, right? And people have different love languages, so it's difficult to connect often. That's what I'm seeing, with clients. That's what I'm seeing when people DM me. That's what I see when people are sending emails. It's difficult, and people are fighting and scratching to stay in their relationships. Now, some people have gotten this down pat. Some people's relationships are thriving, right? They have great relationships, and we have to stop spreading the narrative that everybody is miserable in their relationships. Everybody is not miserable in their relationships. Some people have great relationships, and great relationships that have been lasting a very long time. All right, so some of the intimate questions, and I got these right online. I did not come up with these questions, but I wanted to bring some things to you all, and you all can chime in if you're watching live. You can chime in. Hi, everybody. Hi, welcome, welcome in. Tell a friend. I know it's a Friday night, and some of y'all are out there dating, having Friday nights dates and all of that. So you may be able to catch this on the replay. All right. So it's a couple of different questions. It's let's start with the thought provoking questions for couples. And if you're watching, please share this out. Let me see. I know she wanted me to tag her. So I just want to make sure I tag her. All right. So we're going to start with some thought provoking questions first. And these are conversations that you can have with your significant others. If you could eliminate one weakness or limitation in your life, what would it be? So if you ask your mate that question, because this is how you build intimacy, by sharing what's going on inside, what some of the things that you want to do later, what are things that you can work on. And this is not as soon as you meet somebody, you're going to ask them these questions. You be able to use discernment and feel, if the connection is there and if you want to share these. And these are for people who are also in relationships to build a deeper connection. Um, so that one is, if you could eliminate one weakness of limitations in your life, what would it be? The next thought provoking question, then we'll get to the intimacy part. If you both decided not to have children, are you sure neither would want to change their mind? Now, I've seen that happen a million times, and people split, people divorce because both parties went in saying, I don't want to have children. And then someone, whether it's the male or female, the woman or the man, changes their mind. And now that's an issue or a problem in the relationship. So if you're still out there having kids, and I'm no, of course, men can have kids way up until 60, 70, 80 years old in some cases. In some women, we know there is a sensitive time, especially depending on what's happening with a woman's body, where, she has a certain age frame, depending on her health, how long she can have children, right? So that might be an issue. All of y'all cougars out there, the older women dating the younger men, some of the younger men want to have children, so you want to make sure that is clear, that you're not having children before we even get into a serious relationship, right? That's what we want to do. You want to ask, what actions make you feel emotionally closer to your mate? So you can ask that. You can ask also, what characteristics of marriages have you seen, and what parts would you like to adapt into yours? Now, you may have someone that says, I have never seen a successful relationship, and I don't know how to mimic or how to be in a relationship. And then that's a conversation too. The key is being vulnerable, right? And you want to ask things like, what do you need to feel safe and secure? And most people in relationships, especially women, men too, though, they want to feel safe and secure. So, those are a couple of thought provoking questions that you can ask. And then you can get into conversations like, what is love for you? And you'll find out that many people have different definitions of what love is, right? Love is not just, you know, cupcakes and sunshine and romanticism. It could mean something totally different for you. Hey, cousin, welcome, welcome, welcome. It could mean something different for you than it does. So everybody's definition of love is not the same. Um, And you want to ask too something as simple as, do they believe in soulmates? Because some people don't buy that. Some people don't believe that. And some people believe that's a fairy tale. So you want to make sure you all have the same definitions of love or similar. And then 3, you want to ask, if you're in a relationship already, what's the best part of our relationship? What is the best part of our relationship? And have that conversation, because something you think is the best part of your relationship, they may not think the same thing. So you want to be able to see where you are and check in with each other in your relationship, because I want to promote healthy relationships and healthy communication. If you're in a relationship, I'm not in a relationship, so I I want to still promote healthy relationships and healthy communication, because I think it's so important, right? So many people are splitting and so many people don't believe in love anymore. And as a life coach, I just want to promote healthy relationships as a healing coach. Heal, making sure you do your part and your due diligence to heal yourself so you can be a great partner for someone. And then the other person, hopefully, they're doing that work too. And I don't suggest anybody getting in any type of relationship if that other person, whether it's a man or a woman, has not done their work, has not sought after therapy or coaching, counseling, you know, church, whatever it takes to build, listening to podcasts if they can't go to therapy or they can't afford to, or their insurance or what have you. Not that they don't want to, but they can't. What are they doing to build themselves? What are they doing to make themselves better, to learn, to grow? Those things are important questions. Um, and you want to see if your mate thinks that you are compatible. Hey, Leroy, talking about love and intimacy. If I want to, I can pull somebody on if you want to come on as well. Um, I think it's so important to have intimate conversations and have intimate questions for your partner so you can strengthen your relationships, right? It's so important to be able to be able to feel safe enough to share with your partner, or safe enough to ask any question that you want to help build, hey Anthony, to help build the foundation of your relationship. Because if you're not connecting on any level, if you're not connecting up here, right, and you're not connecting heart wise, and you're not having conversations, then your relationship is going to be stunted at some point, because you shouldn't feel unsafe to have a conversation, to express yourself, express your feelings, whatever it is in your relationship. If you feel intimidated to be able to not, express yourself in the relationship, then that's a relationship that needs to be reevaluated. Because I used to always say, if you're swapping spit, you can swap information. You can swap, your feelings out back and forth. And the myth is that men don't have feelings, or men are not in touch with their feelings and emotions, and they're not expressive, and men don't talk. That's not true. So that has to be eliminated too. All the stereotypes and all the things that you think are in a relationship. And your relationship may be fine. You may be looking to be in a relationship. Your relationship now may be fine, but your relationship can always be strengthened and always be better. You can ask questions like, what are 3 things about me that attracted you to me when we met? That's a good question. Like, what are some of the things that attracted? Because they often say the things that attracted me, or the things that I thought were cute, not attracted. Let's get that one out, because that's a good question. But the things that you thought were so cute, or this, that, it ends up getting on somebody's nerves. In this day, we have to be in touch with our mate. Exactly. And that's really a connection. I totally agree. All right. So you want to ask, what do you like about our physical relationship, and how could we improve? I think that that's an excellent question, because you're leaving it open, an open-ended question. How can we improve? Because don't think that, oh yeah, we got this on lock, because each person in the relationship is going to continue to grow, right? They're going to continue to learn. They're going to continue to discover new things. So you have to be able to be in tune and in line and connected to your partner as you grow, especially the people that have been together for years through different decades and different seasons of life. Everybody is changing, everybody is transforming, everybody is evolving. So it's important to stay connected, because the person that you may have married 10 years ago is not going to hopefully be the same person now, or the person you're in a relationship with a committed relationship, they're not going to be. Exactly, Anthony. Both have to be intentional. And then you want to ask about what do you need most in me right now? That's a good question. Like, what do you need most? Do you need comfort? Do you need security? Do you need a soft place to land? Like, what do you need from me at this particular moment? That's checking in, because sometimes what you think that somebody might have wanted, they may not need or want that now. So it's so important to be able to ask those questions. And then you can also ask, what do you believe is missing from your life right now? I think that's a very intimate and deep question. And somebody might be like, nothing's missing. And somebody might be like, I'm glad you asked, because I'm feeling a certain type of way. And I want to, besides God, your intimate partner, the person you're in a relationship with, or the person that you made a love connection with, or the person that you're committed to, should be, one of the closest people to you, where you're able to take the mask off and let your hair down. And most people can only do that if they feel emotionally safe. And there's that healing point, and there's that the conversations that need to be had, because somebody that might be extremely important for them to be able to share, because some people will not share anything. I've met married couples, I've met couples in relationships that don't know the smallest thing about the person, because although they have been together long, they've never really gone past the surface emotionally. And you would think that they would if they've been together a few years, but some don't take it past the surface level. And a lot of people have had a lot of hurt in relationships and a lot of baggage. And sometimes they think that hey, Troy, and sometimes they think that they've healed, but they're in the relationship and they see, okay, I'm not healed, right? And some people think that they are healed until something happens and it shows that they're not really healed. And you can share that with your partner as well. You can say, you know what? That hurts me when you do this, or I feel a certain type of way when this happens. That's how you strengthen your relationship. Let's see what else. What makes you feel appreciated? Ask your partner, what makes you feel appreciated? Because you might think that you're appreciating, whatever your significant other is doing, but they may not feel appreciated. They might not have a clue, or they might not even know what can happen, because if you hit people with questions like that, sometimes they don't even know how to respond, because nobody asks those questions on a regular basis. I think every relationship should have a check-in, where you're checking in, whether it's once a week, every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever the couple decides to do. Ask them, well, what makes you feel appreciated? And this is a good one. We're talking about intimacy. We're talking about promoting healthy relationships and healthy communication in relationships. Um, this is a good one. When was the last time you felt love? Exactly, Troy. And we're going beyond even the love languages, because now we're diving all the way in. Like, when is the last time you felt love? Your woman or your man might think that they're loving you down. They're showing you love. And then you ask the next person, and you ask that question, they'd be like, I haven't felt love from you, or I haven't felt loved by you in 6 months. Some will say a year. And the person is floored. I know this couple that were in a marriage, and I forgot how long it was. It was a very significant amount of time, 20 years or more. And the man, so the woman was saying that she had She wasn't feeling, and I'm trying to quote it without quoting it because I don't want to give it away. Basically, the husband, the woman said she needed space. The husband moved to another room, right? And the woman wasn't feeling appreciated. She wasn't feeling valued. She wasn't feeling heard. And he was just a robot doing things that he's been doing for 20 something years. So eventually she was like, I need some space. So he moved into the next bedroom. And not too long after that, months after that, she wanted a divorce. And he was like, I don't even know why she wanted a divorce. Everything was fine. Everything was okay. He, in his mind, was so used to how things were going that he didn't even realize that she wasn't even happy in the relationship, right? In the marriage. And then later he was saying that he felt he could see all the mistakes that he was making, but he could not see them in real time. He only seen the mistakes that he was making after they already got divorced. She remarried and she's happy and she's thriving, and he is very angry. He's very angry, and she's already remarried, and he is very, and it's a friend of mine that, and I asked, I said, well, why are you so angry? Because she just did it out the blue. I said, well, if you were living in another room for months, then it wasn't out the blue. I said, at any time, did you check in with her? He was like, no, I was just giving her some space. But the space ended up being the signal on what was happening. And a lot of times that's not an anomaly. A lot of times that happens and people just go on with their lives and they don't even check in. Let's see. It's because we give love the way we like to receive love typically. Absolutely. And some people do that, but just because you like to be loved a certain way doesn't mean that person does. And then also people give love to the new person like they did the old person. And his love is not a one size fits all, but people only give you what they know how to give. And some people only love how they know how to love, and that's their capacity. Then they're like, well, I did all of this, I did this, I did that. And some people talk about money, or some people talk about things. I did this, I bought this, I did this. And you'll see the richest of richest people like, but I wanted you home. Like, I didn't want the new car, I didn't want the new Mercedes, I didn't want the new house. It's great. How many other bags can I have? How many of this? I wanted you here with me. And then that's something too, because then people say, well, they're going to complain if I was broke or I wasn't out there making money, then I'd be a buster. I heard a lot of guys say that, then I'd be a buster, but then they mad that I'm working, but then I'm providing this lifestyle, but then she says she wants me home. It's like you have to have those type of conversations with each other even before you get to the place of no return. Some women expect a man to know what's wrong, and some men expect a woman to know what's wrong. Both men and women do that. That's why it's so important to have honest and real conversations. That's why I'm doing this show right now, because I want people to move forward in healthy relationships. Because as a life coach, I see them when they're not healthy and what that does. As a person that experienced unhealthy relationships, I see what that does, even personally. So I understand that in both realms, professionally and personally. And you guys are not blind. You've seen on social media, you know your friends, you know your family. People are getting divorced and breaking up left and right because there's so many people out here who want somebody. They feel like, well, I ain't got to deal with that. Right? And they leave, and no one leaves a relationship in 2 seconds. It has to be a build up in some things because ultimately people want to try to make it work. You see people over and over and over again, people breaking up, getting back together, people, doing all this because people, nobody out here is exempt from wanting love, right? But at what cost? Do you want unhealthy love or do you want healthy love? That's what I want to promote. It's so important. Anthony says, after 20 years of marriage, we forgot how to communicate. We love then and we care about each other's feelings. Yes. And sometimes it does because sometimes if you're together for a long time, it becomes a routine. It just becomes a way of life. The person is always there. When you come home, they're there, or when you can call them on the phone, they answer. And if you're not, if you don't live together, and it's just a routine, and it becomes a routine. And after a while, it becomes an unhealthy routine. And nobody should want, some people thrive in unhealthy relationships because that's all they know. If they were growing up in their family of origin and they've seen people fight all the time, argue, or never kiss, or never hug, or never laugh together, and their grandmoms and moms and dads and granddads stayed together for all of these years, they think that, saying, different shots to each other as far as being sarcastic or being unloving in relationships. That's what they see. And sometimes it works for them, right? But is it really working? Like, are they really fulfilled in their relationship, or have they just gotten used to how it is? And that's unfortunately what happens. Another question in this 80 intimate questions to ask your partner, when do you feel the closest to me? When do you feel the closest to me? Somebody might say when, I don't know, you tell me. If your partner says, when do you feel the closest to me? As a man, what does that look like? We have a lot of men on here live today and some women. Hey guys. So and I'm streaming live from different platforms. But what does that do you even know how to answer that? Think about it. What When do you feel the closest to me? I bet you that would stump somebody. That was something like, when do I feel the closest to you? Maybe I feel the closest to you when. That might be something that you have to table and get back to that person, because most people aren't used to questions like that in their relationship or in their budding relationships. If you're just starting a relationship, these are great questions to ask. Not maybe on the first date, because they'd be like, I don't feel close to you. I just met you 2 days ago. So as you're getting in a relationship, let me see, the older couples were scared to leave each other. I totally agree. And it was just a way of life. Like, you know what really pains me is when I hear older people say, all men cheat. They just going, boys will just be boys. First of all men don't cheat. The whole thing is black men don't cheat, right? But all men don't cheat, or a man will be a man. Well, what does that mean? You're reducing a man to a man like he can't have growth and intellect and decision making skills. But it's just a thing that people say, and I've seen people pass these things down to the next generation. All men are dogs. No, all men aren't dogs, right? Or women, all they want to do is cry and share their feelings and emotions. No, there's some men out there crying and sharing their feelings or emotions too. So we have to not generalize so much and really focus on the person that we're in the relationship with, or the commitment with, or the partnership, or whatever it is. You have to really have those conversations. What do you wish you could spend more time on? Like, your partner might say, I wish I can spend more time on the things that I dream about, or some of my goals, but I can't because I'm working 60 hours a week. I don't have time to spend on my goals and my dreams. That's a key right there. Because if the person is unhappy, if the person is lashing out, if the person is withdrawn, it could be because they don't have the time and the energy to spend on their passion, to spend on their dream. So it might be trickling over into the relationship in a negative way. So these are important questions to ask. um let's see, what's the favorite part of our relationship? You can ask that. What are other ways, what other ways can I better show you my appreciation? Like, how can I show you I appreciate you? Because somebody's love language might be gifts, right? You can show you appreciate them by getting your man a gift or getting your woman a gift, and that could show appreciation. Others may have the love language of acts of service. You can show that you appreciate by putting gas in my car, right? Or something like that, or making sure I have lunch, or whatever that is. So everybody's love language is different. So you want to make sure you know who you're dealing with, because you might not be dealing with the last one. You might not be dealing with yourself, because you're in a relationship with somebody else, not just yourself. So don't give somebody that what you want to give and it has no value to the other person. You can ask, and if you want to really get intimate, you can ask, you know, what is a relationship deal breaker for you? What turns you off? There's something in, what turns you off? Not that the person is going to transform into who you want them to be, but you want to know, if you're sitting at the table smacking your food all the time and you're sitting there eating and then you wonder why she or he don't want to take you out to eat, it's because it turns them off that the food is spilling out your mouth. But they just might not want to say nothing. Now, when you start asking these questions, it could open the floodgates to healthy conversations, right? And then you can ask, what is your favorite part of your body? And then you can ask them, what is the favorite part of my body that you like? And that's how you develop intimacy. You can get into the deeper the questions, you can get in sensual questions, you can get in intellectual questions. Just have communication, because nowadays, you hear it all the time. You get women will get a good morning beautiful text, or how you doing, what you doing, how was your night, what you doing today. Like, you ain't gonna get into no connection, no deep connection with shallow questions. One lady was saying on, I think it was on social media, she was saying that she was talking to this guy for 2 months. 2 months. And the only questions, the deepest they got is what you, every day it was like, what you doing, how you doing, how was your night, what you doing today, what you eating for dinner. It was like, so you're going to block. So you're dating somebody for 2 months and they have not even asked you any intimate questions. Then that's going to put a halt to whatever that is. And what I've learned about that is some people just don't know how to effectively communicate. And that's what I want to change. Some people are afraid to ask questions. Some people don't want to rock the boat, but you got to be able to ask questions, just like you're getting to know someone. So it's a clean slate. You don't know people, right? So you want to ask people. And it's important to do that, right? Now the young people are like, well, what's your Instagram? Or what's your, and get to know. I wouldn't want to give somebody my Instagram, and because you're going to know this side of me, but there's a whole lot of, deeper things about me. And you'll probably get, it will probably be unfair if I was dating somebody and they ask for my Instagram or my social media. I think it would be an uneven fight, if you will, because you're going to learn so much about me. But then if I ask your Instagram and you got one picture in a post, one video, how am I even going to know? I don't even know what your voice really sounds like, right? So how are you going to get to know someone? Hi, welcome, welcome. So it's so important in relationship to ask questions to help connect, because it's important to promote healthy love, not just long love. You can say that you've been together for 20 years and it be blissful, right? Or it's miserable and unhappy and you've reached a wall and you don't know how to get over that wall, or you never learned how to communicate in a healthy way. I see it all the time with the couples I coach. I see it all the time online. I see it with friends. Like, some people are together. I know people that are together and been married 30 years and they have not had a conversation in years. But if you look on social media, they've posted all of these amazing things that they're doing and they're saying and they're having fun and they're all of that. But then you'll have a conversation with them privately and they don't even talk. They're going on vacation, but one person is doing their thing, they're doing theirs. They don't even come together until they're on the plane. And that might work for them, but they're not having conversations. Nowadays, go to a restaurant, watch people and see if they connect. See if they connect. No, they don't connect, because guess where they are? On their phones. One person is on their phone doing whatever they're doing. The other one, people are not even looking in each other's eyes anymore. People are on to the next, and people are so focused on taking pictures of the food, taking pictures of them so they can post online, but they're falsely connecting. They just want to make it look good for the gram. Look good for TikTok, right? And not really focus on the relationship. Let me see. Troy says on YouTube, ultimately, the man is the foundation of the relationship, and the man selects the woman, right? We get what we select, it's our choice. That does not mean a woman can't be wrong, but the man selects her, and it's up to the man to correct the issues. A woman typically is a responder to a man's stimulus. Whoo, child. I agree, Troy. I totally agree. I totally agree. I'm going to read that again. Troy says on YouTube, ultimately, the man is the foundation of the relationship, and the man selects the women. We get what we select. It's our choice. That doesn't mean a woman cannot be wrong, but the man selects her. It's up to the man to correct the issues. A woman typically is a responder to a man's stimulus. I totally agree. I totally agree. And I don't agree just because I'm a woman and I'm selected and we respond. But a lot of times, I can even say in my case, a lot of times I have responded, right? Because if something happens in a relationship that's never happened before in any other relationship, and you've never seen it, you've never experienced it, and you don't know how to, you're responding or reacting to what's happening, and you're not really, it's not a genuine response, because whatever it was, let's just say if there was an argument or something like that, most people, there's never an argument about the shoes in the middle of the floor. It's never really an argument about you smacking at the table and I just can't take it no more. It's usually a buildup, but most people don't know how to communicate whatever's bothering them or affecting them, that the next time the person does something, then they just blow up. And it's not even about whatever said issue it was. That's why it's so important. I want to just promote healthy relationships and healthy communication. Now, some people don't even know they're in an unhealthy relationship, because that's what they're used to over and over again. It's a different woman's face, it's a different man's face, but it's the same issues, the same, problems, the same type of love. And it's a hamster wheel, and they don't know how to get off that hamster wheel because some people think they don't deserve better. Some people don't even know how to have a healthy relationship. Some people have never even seen a healthy relationship. What is a healthy relationship? I don't know what that is, right? Let's see. Troy, you going deep here. Troy says on YouTube, a woman is an incubator. Typically, she takes and wants. What do you say? She takes what she's given and multiplies it, gives it back to you. That's very true. That's very true. And it sounds like that you really, and I know you're a man of a certain age, right? And you have wisdom and you have experience. And I think once we get to a certain age and we can see, if we look over, past relationships, or if we can see clearly once we're out of relationships and you sit in and spend time with yourself, then you're able to really recognize and see certain things that maybe some young people may not see, because young people are different now. They're not staying in no if it ain't served. And I'm not saying all, because some, Cardi B just came out with splitting with her husband Offset, and she's saying that we have no idea what she put up with for years, and she covered, she covered him. And the last time he cheated again, and she's like, she can't take it no more. And they have two young kids. She's young, but a lot of young women are enduring also because they've seen their moms and grandmoms endure. But then you have the other group that they ain't taking nothing. The minute that they see something happening, they leave. So I think in between, it's a happy medium to be able to have open conversations and to be able to know your worth as a man or a woman, right? You can ask a question, and this is if you want to talk about intimacy, ask what somebody's definition of intimacy is. Your definition of intimacy could be different from mine. Theirs can be different. We're streaming on all social media platforms. Everybody might get something different. And that's and what your definition of love is, what your definition of intimacy is. Because if you're complaining that your person is not intimate, they might not even, their definition is like, what do you mean? We have intimate conversations. We have intimacy where we spend quality time together. We look into each other's eyes. That's intimacy. And somebody's intimacy might be sex. And that might be how they know how to be intimate. Intimacy for me is the intellectual conversation, me sharing and you sharing. To me, that's intimate. To someone else, that might not be intimacy. So it's important to ask and understand somebody's language of intimacy or somebody's language of love. Because somebody might not, you might have a woman that never says, I love you, or you have the man that never says, I love you. But their love language is showing you that they love you, maybe through actions or through doing. But the man just might want to hear, I love you. The woman might just want to hear, I love you. But that's not important to that person. Showing you and doing is that love to that person. That's why so many things are missed in relationships, because people don't have these conversations. Let me see what Troy said. Hey, Alan, how are you? So it's so important to have these conversations. Um, if you want to grow your relationship, then you need to even get further than that. And if you're not in a relationship, that's okay. Right now, you can take some of these things, you can play it again, save it, send this to somebody who is entering a new relationship, who is out there dating, who was in an old relationship and they've been there for years, and you feel like they're having difficulties, or you want them to stay strong. Send this. How often, this is to grow your relationship. What was our most romantic moment together? I'm sure you'll have two different answers. What about our relationship makes you happy? Right? Ask that type of question. What makes you happy? What is your biggest fear for this relationship? That's a good one. What is love is truly an action word. And people say it all the time, but the action ain't actioning. People say it so empty. I love you. They say it so empty, or they love you as God loved the church, right? And it's just, I love you, but it's not an intimate. You want to see action, but asking somebody, what is one difference between us that you love? And I love that because people aren't the same. So what is one difference that you love? Somebody might say, I love that you're calm and I'm hype, or you communicate, or you speak up and I don't, or you love to cook and I don't. Like somebody might say, then that's that happy balance, because you're not going to date yourself. Let's just get it out the way. You're not going to date yourself. You're going to date somebody or be married to somebody or in a relationship with somebody who had a totally different upbringing in life than you had. It's not going to be a person that grew up. You can have somebody that grows up in the same household, siblings, and they're totally different because they receive information differently. So, you're not going to have, whether you have your soulmate and all of that. And do y'all believe in soulmates? Do you believe in you only get one true love? Do you guys believe in all of that? What do you think about that? Because you have some people that think like soulmate. Let's see it. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I gotta read that. This is now. He said, I know it ain't about this. Alan, we grew up together. Alan, when did we meet? I'm 52 now. And I was like 10. And we walked to the record store and got New Edition. He said, I miss you, my friend. I know it's not about the topic, but no matter who I am within life, they will know I love you because you were a real and true friend. No disrespect. No, I do. I appreciate that. And I feel that way about you. You are like a pet, a piece of my, you my upbringing. Like I'm 52. We go back to 10 years old. So I totally agree. I hope you are doing well. I hope your son is doing well. We definitely got to catch up for sure. For sure. It's good seeing you. I pray for you too. For sure. Um and when you think, and then okay, so that's a question. Like I've known him. Do you think that it's okay for men and women to be friends? It's okay. Do you think it's okay to have, since now? Oh, he said I wasn't 10, I was 9. I probably was 9. I was 9, man. And when I look at you, I think about my cousin because and I talk about this in my book and I'll get back to it, but back to the subject. But my favorite cousin, who was like my sister, she passed away. And people that I have met after the age of 17, they have no idea who she is, right? And he does, right? But in Troy said, depends, right? It depends. Let's talk about that. And a lot of people say, it depends. And it depends on, to me, I think that if you're in a relationship with somebody and you had friends, I think they should be able to meet your woman, or they should be able to meet your man and to have a conversation, because it's important for both parties to feel confident. I think it's both parties to feel, respected. And I think that that really matters. All right. I just have a couple more and then I'll end. Um, do you think you need to make any personal improvements? That's a deep relationship question. Like you're talking to your mate, right? Do you think that I need to make any improvements? And then you ask your mate. Now, you have to be mature to be able to listen, to be able to hear, to be able to absorb, right? And hopefully, if you're in a relationship that is trustworthy, you can trust what the person is saying and you know that it's not coming from a malicious place. Now, if you feel it's coming from a malicious place, right? Then that's another pop-up, because everybody should be able to take constructive criticism, right? But in some relationships, some people will try to tear you down if you have that type of push and pull. So you have to be able to really connect in that way and know if it's from a great place and it's not somebody trying to tear you down. I think this is a good one. Who has been the most influential person in your life and why? Now, somebody said Kevin Samuels. If the man said Kevin Samuels, run the other way. If Kevin Samuels, and not talking bad about the people who are not here, but we know we have a lot of men and women who supported what he said. Now, if that's the biggest influential person in your life, then that's something to be said. That's a whole conversation. Y'all match made in heaven, in foolery. If you don't trust, believe, or respect your mate, why be with that person? Hmm. If you don't trust, believe, or respect your mate, why be with that person? That's a whole word right there. Alan, that's a whole word right there. I love you too. Hey, girl. Think about it. Think about that. I'm going to pause on that. If you don't trust, believe, or respect your mate, why are you with them? Because we are promoting healthy relationships. And if you're in a relationship or you're entering a relationship, you've been in a relationship 6 months, you've been in a relationship 6 years, you've been in a relationship 60 years. Why are you in it if you can't trust, believe, or respect the person? It's best to part ways. It's best to be able to say, you know what? I deserve more. And that goes for men and women. Women aren't the only ones that deserve more. Men aren't the only one that deserves more. You deserve to be in a healthy relationship. That's why you got to get yourself together so you can be happy and whole. And then you connect with someone else, hey, cousin, that can be happy and whole. It's no, he completes me, she completes me. We ain't doing that foolishness, because you're not a half a person walking around here with one leg and one arm. Well, some people are, but you get what I'm saying. You can't be a half person. You have to be able to be whole and healed so you can connect with someone else. Now, do you have to be perfect? Because you're not going to be whole and healed in every area of life, because you're still a flawed individual. But you want to be able to connect in a way that is honest, that is coming from a whole place and not looking for someone else to validate you. And unfortunately, when you're coming from an unhealed space, some people are looking for another person to validate them. And then that creates something else. All right. So lastly, I'm going to end with 7 questions to strengthen your relationship. What do we like to do together for fun? Because to me, if you can't have no fun with your mate, that's like a sentence. If you can't have fun with your mate, I like to have fun. I like to be silly. I like to just that's my thing. I'm silly. I like to have fun. I cannot be sitting up locked in the house not having no type of fun, no type of laughing. Like, I want to laugh, like uncontrollably laugh. Does it mean every moment in the relationship is going to be funny and laughter? There's not going to be deep moments? Absolutely not. But you got to be able to laugh at each other. You got to be able to laugh at yourself. You got to be able to go out there, because a happy person does produce a healthy relationship. Now, to totality, no, that's a component. Um, you can ask. Now, this one gets a lot of people something so simple. Once you start living together and you marry, who takes the garbage out? Who's going to cook? Have those kind of conversations. That way, when you see the trash overflowing, you can't get mad because you never said, oh, I assume that you're supposed to do this. Or you see them dishes falling out the sink. Don't assume that the woman is supposed to do the dishes and the man's take out the trash. Hey, Aaliyah, so when I was younger, my brother would do that, right? And then I would do the dishes. People are not doing gender roles anymore. Whoever is interested or whoever is better at something, then that's the person that should do it. The woman could carry a satchel of trash over her back and walk into the trash, and the man can make a gourmet meal. What y'all doing? You have to decide, right? And we want to talk about monogamy. Are we still on the same page about monogamy? If you started a relationship and your mate said, you know what, I'm into monogamy, it's just me and you, we're in a committed relationship, you might want to check back. Yeah, we still good on monogamy? I don't think I can hear. You can't hear me? Other people on here hearing. I don't know. They were on here hearing. I'm not sure. Let me just make sure. Let me just make sure. Uh-oh. The IG can hear. Okay. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear. Hopefully they could hear. They were listening before. Okay. So you just want to make sure that you're on the same page when it comes to monogamy, right? Because everybody is not the same when it comes to what they think the traditional relationship could be. Because somebody might be like, well, we didn't discuss that. Let me see. Great book. Alan says on YouTube, great book for men and women is Men Don't Heal, We Hoe. Ooh, Stephen Dixon, Men Are Raised by Women. It's about our instability as men that women show us at the early age. I've never heard of that book. Have you guys heard of that book? Troy, you heard of that book? I've never heard of that book. Yeah, I've never heard of it. That's deep. But if you did, Troy said, Alan, you done sold Troy. Troy gonna get that book. He's gonna get that book. So ultimately, we want to build a deeper bond for your partner. Hopefully, as the years go, as the months grow, as the days go, you want to build a deeper relationship, a deeper connection with the person, because it's important to do that, right? You want to go upward, right? So you can ask, which ones do I want to end with? What goals do you have for us? That's good. You may have somebody that wants to get married. You may have somebody that does not want to get married. You may have somebody that wants to move out of state. You might want to be in the state that you're in. You want to have somebody, you want to have somebody travel a lot. Somebody may be scared to get on the plane. You might have all of these goals for the person you're in a relationship with, but never have the conversation with the person you're with. So it's important to really have conversation. The ultimate reason for doing this, and then I'm going to conclude. Wait, let's see. He said, Talon says he advised you to read. He's a relationship guy. The book is better than Steve Harvey. That's yeah. I Steve Harvey had people in the chokehold with their book, and everybody is like, "What you mean?" So I never heard that book. I gotta check it out. All right. So the basic reason for me doing this episode once again is okay. Once again is to really promote healthy relationships. So I'm live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and I see all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in live and the playback. But it ultimately is to promote healthy relationships and healthy communication in relationships. A lot of people are breaking up, relationships aren't lasting, people are not having conversations with one another, people are not talking about the present, people are not talking about the future, right? People are so quick to disband relationships, or they're staying in relationships way too long, one or the other. You can be with somebody 20 years and never have an intimate conversation with them because you're afraid, or because you are unfamiliar with what it looks like to be vulnerable, and you don't even want to get there. So you want to keep it a surface level. You don't want to be that person that's dating somebody for 6 months and the only conversations you have on text is what you doing, how you doing. Then it gets down to WYD. They ain't even asking you how you doing anymore. They're just saying WYD. How you doing, what you eating, did you sleep well, what you doing in the morning, good morning. Like, those are surface conversations. You're never going to build, hey Pam, you're never going to build a healthy relationship until you really dive into questions. Make sure you talk about sex. How much is too much? What is not enough? How often? How many days? People don't talk about that. People just assume, right? What is the love language? Have you even heard of the love languages? Are they beyond the 5 love languages? What makes you laugh? What makes you smile? What are some of your deepest fears? What scares you, right? Who is the closest person to you? That's how you really get to know somebody. Do you have inhibitions? Can you overlook anything um, that someone says or does in the relationship? How do you feel about family? How do you feel about visitors? If one day we live together and we get married, do you like to have a cookout every single Saturday? Do you like to have people over or not? I've seen arguments with that. Like, you got somebody over every day. It's a card game, it's a basketball game, it's a game party, it's a TV watch, it's a boxing event, it's the playoffs, it's the Super Bowl. You got somebody over all the time. You might find a mate that loves to entertain the same way you do. You might find a mate that don't want nobody at their house ever, never, ever. That's going to create an argument. So you got to be able to ask real conversations. Asking somebody their favorite color, that is a real conversation, but that's not important unless they're getting you something and they get you red and you like blue or green. That's not going to rock the boat. They can take it back and get the color that you need. But the intimate conversations, like, what do you believe? What do you believe? And one of the most important is, do you believe in God? Do you have a relationship with God? For some people, for me, that's extremely important, right? For some people, it may not. They may be saying the universe. They may be saying, I don't have organized religion. I don't believe in that. You want to have similar beliefs. You don't want that to cause an issue or a problem. So it's important. Troy done put the link to the book. He already looked it up. I need real sentences. Right. Me too, Alan. Some people like WYD. What you doing? Or HRU. Like, don't send me a text and you like my age group and you saying you are and you saying all of this stuff. Like, have it, because intimacy starts here. I know for me it does. Intellectual, right? Got to be able to have a conversation with you. I'm going to get bored very quick if we ain't having conversations other than how you doing and what you doing. You're not going to keep my attention. You're not going to keep anybody's attention that's a deep thinker, or that's just a human being that just wants to connect and have a conversation. Let's see, Alan. I want to be able to touch you no matter the situation. I love for you to be mad at me. I'm really going to touch you. That negative energy will not be happening. Negative energy, absolutely not. We with each other because we want to be, we don't have to be. If we want to be, so we don't have to be. If you're not happy, go be happy. I totally agree. Like, don't waste nobody's time. If you out here and you ain't trying to be happy and you want to have negative, negativity parties, and if I say up, you say down. If I say left, you say right. If I say this way, you say that way. If you just want to battle, if you just want to be miserable, then that's the healing that you have to do by yourself. Don't bring anyone else into that. And in some people's defense, some people don't even know that they're being miserable. They don't know that they're unhappy until they're around somebody who is not. And sometimes they still may not be able to recognize that. Like, don't call me in the morning with no foolishness. And I'm trying to pray and I'm trying to get my life together. I don't want negativity, especially at 52 at this stage in the game. I don't want no negativity. I don't want no drama. I don't want no trauma. I don't want no negative thoughts. I don't want that. Now, that doesn't mean I want somebody perfect, but I want somebody who is in the same place and feeling the same way, and someone who is constantly working on themselves to be better. Every day I work on myself to be better, right? I don't want anybody that says, well, I'm good the way I am. I don't need to be better. I'm the best I'm going to be. Like, what? You'd be like, okay, sir. And then the men be like, okay, ma'am. And that's okay. Allow people to be who you use your wisdom and discernment, and you decide who you spend time with and who you want in your life. You get to decide that. No one else gets to decide that for you. No one else should guilt you to be in a situation where you're unhappy or you're not growing or you're not fulfilled, or you're sitting with each other at dinner and nobody's saying anything. Both people are on their phones. You're not going to connect in that way. And I think now with social media and phones, ain't nobody getting nobody's attention. Ain't nobody getting nobody's attention because everybody wants to post, and they're posting like they're having an amazing time, right? Wherever they are, they're posting like they're having an amazing time, when in reality, they're really not having an amazing time because they're spending all their time posting or taking pictures. So it's so crazy. I really had to make up sex because I'm happy go lucky, but I want to experience that. Right. And you know what? And that's important. And saying what you want is important. That way you give the other person the opportunity to say, you know what? That's not where I am. And then you can free them to find somebody who is for them. Like they say, there's somebody for everybody, but until you actually talk, like, don't get caught up in he's fine, she's fine, she got a big booty, he got a big bank account, or she got a big bank account, he got a big booty, whatever floats your boat. You can't get caught up in that kind of thing. And if you want a superficial relationship, then you can have that as well. You totally can have that. And it's up to you to decide. You get to decide what's good for you and what's not. All right, this was a good conversation, y'all. Thank you for everybody. Yes, thank you for everybody who participated in the conversation. I think it's important to have conversations like this, and to really get deep and to really talk about what you desire. And somebody out there might be like, you know what? I've been in so many unhealthy relationships. I don't know what I want. And that's okay too. And you can have that conversation. You meet somebody like, listen, I got a hard time trusting. I'm working on being vulnerable. I'm getting to know myself more so I can know what I like and I can deliver it to you. Because you can ask somebody what they like, what they want out of a relationship. They can't tell you, but they can tell you everything they don't want, right? And that could be good, but that could be not so good also, because you want to get to know what you like. And the only way you get to know what you like is to spend time with you and get to know you so you can be the best version of yourself for yourself, and you can be the best version of you for the person that you choose to spend your time with, because time is the only entity we cannot get back. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining. This was fun. Remember, you are a star. Don't allow anyone to dim your shine. I want y'all to all be well and go forth and be happy, healthy, and whole. Until next time, God bless. Peace, y'all. Thank you. And Troy, let me know if you got the book. Thank you all. Thank you. You have never changed and don't change. Don't know who's listening, but she's real. Oh, I appreciate you. I do. Thank you. I don't even know how to change for that way. Anyway, thank you. All right, y'all. Thank you for listening. God bless y'all. Peace.